Robin's with you in the afternoons.
And it is time for Wellness Wednesday. Speaking of wellness, I was just telling Jane Ehrman, who's here with me today, that was my very first post-COVID concert, actually, over at the Uptown. It was one of those weird ones where everyone had to wear masks, but yet the bar was open, so we were trying to figure out how this is all going to work. But it was a great show nonetheless. And speaking of wellness, welcome, Jane. I'm here with Jane Ehrman from imagesofwellness.com. It's always great to have you here.
Thanks, Robin. It's good to be back.
Yes, absolutely. So, there's a lot going on in people's lives and in the world that are negative and upsetting. It can make some people feel as though there's just nothing good going on. I mean, we seriously get that. And it can definitely bring us down for sure. It affects our mood, it stresses us out. Some of us have trouble sleeping. Yes, my hand is up. For some, it's so stressful that it can lead to burnout and even depression. Why is that?
Robin, that's all true. Our brain is wired for negativity. It's part of the protectiveness in our brain to always be looking for where we might have to protect ourselves. What could go wrong? What might have happened previously that was negative? And what if it happens again? And how do we adjust to that? The problem is today, with immediate reports and recurrent media images of terrible events and trauma, we're constantly inundated with negative news. That seems to be what sells, no matter what form of media.
And it used to be we would just see the evening news, but now things show up in our feeds over and over again, too.
So there you get this ding on your iPad or your phone or whatever, and it's breaking news, and it's generally not, hey, we're all doing well today. It's nothing like that.
That'd be fantastic.
It would be. So yes, it does affect our mood. It can drain us of energy and has many of us wide-eyed in the middle of the night, including yours truly.
Absolutely, me too. And I'm here again with Jane Ehrman from imagesofwellness.com. We're talking about Wellness Wednesday. Is there anything we can do about that to help all this and get us back on track?
Yes, there is. I want to tell you about a really good, effective practice called 3 Good Things Today. It takes literally 2, maybe 3 minutes at the end of your day, just before bedtime, to write down 3 positive things that happened today.
Like a gratitude journal.
Yes, but it's just a sentence, okay? And it could be a conversation you had with someone, a friend. It could be a meeting that went surprisingly well, or that you enjoyed this warm sunshine today.
So great.
Or a tasty sandwich. Let's get to it. You woke up today.
So, it could be worse.
Along with writing this sentence about the good thing, you add what feelings were connected to that good thing. So you felt happy about the conversation and maybe more connected with your friend, or you feel relieved that that meeting went so well, and that warm sunshine, you found yourself feeling soothed and lighthearted, and that sandwich, so tasty, was satisfying. Those are all things, those are simple little things, but they're important ones.
Absolutely. And I love that because I was able to pull from the idea of a gratitude journal, but this seems so much simpler. And I used to do that over the dinner table with my kids when they were younger, but I love also that you're suggesting that we delve not just into the tell me something good that happened today, but how it made us feel.
Yes, that's really important.
Yeah, so that it sounds super easy, which is fantastic because in our daily lives, who need something that's going to be more complicated? What does writing these 3 things do for us?
There's good research that shows when we take notes, when we write down notes, if we're taking a class or in a meeting, we tend to remember it and it locks it into us much more effectively. So that's why writing it down. It's a conscious activity of connecting with what we did. And so research has shown that doing this at night really does improve sleep and mood, and it shifts the focus to looking for something good in the day and significantly reduces depression and anxiety. I want to tell you more about that because this came out of research with Dr. Brian Sexton at Duke Medical Center. He did a 2-week pilot study with doctors and nurses with symptoms of burnout, asking them just to write down 3 good things before bed, to just take 2-3 minutes and write it down and the emotions that were connected with it. Here's what they found. people fell asleep quicker and slept better. And that by day 4 and 5 of that first week, that people were consciously moving through their day thinking, I want to remember this one for tonight. This is what I'm going to. And the third thing is, at the end of the week, people's moods were elevated significantly. And 6 months later, their moods were still elevated. This had a lot more positivity to it than was expected.
I love hearing that people were actually consciously thinking about it as the day went on, because it's great to reflect back on your day at the end of the day about the positive things. But if you're not aware of the positive things as they're happening, you're kind of spending a pretty good chunk of your day, time-wise, I would think, not realizing how great things are.
Exactly. And because we have this brain wiring of negativity, we have a tendency to think, well, yeah, that was good, but these other things. And so thinking that, oh, I want to remember this one tonight, it already elevates your mood, I think.
Absolutely. So what's the best way to do this?
So get a little notebook. You can get this at any little, note store, whatever, drugstore, whatever. Just a little 3x5 spiral notebook and a pen, and put it by your bed. And before going to bed, write down your 3 good things from the day and the feeling or feelings. Sometimes you have more than one feeling about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Write that down with it. It just takes a moment or two. People are like, I don't even know what to think. Nothing happened. I've had patients say that to me, and I'd say, really?
Dig deep.
Did you wake up today? Might have been a funny dance from the bed to the bathroom, but you got there, didn't you? You look like you're dressed. You look like you've eaten today. Well, those are 3 or 4 things already. We tend to think it has to be big things, like I won a lottery ticket or something. No, we forget the little things that we take for granted that are so powerful. Clean water coming out of a faucet, a bed to sleep in, food to eat in the refrigerator. That's really something. And it's important to focus back to that. So write them down so they'll have a greater impact. So you're having a rough day, you can look over the last week or two. What did I write down those last 2 days? Oh, I had another day like that too. I could write that down. So doing this nightly, if you did this for a year, Robin, at the end of the year, you'd have 1,095 good things upon which to reflect. Isn't that wonderful?
That's amazing.
That might be a nice thing to do on New Year's Eve.
Absolutely. It's kind of like going back and pulling out an old diary and rereading it, only the good stuff.
Absolutely. And then reading those things going, oh, I remember that day. And that elevates your mood, because what you're thinking about, what you're focusing on, what your perceptions are, impact your physiology. It changes the chemistry in you. And this changes it in a very good way.
I believe it. I mean, it's fun to look back on our lives in all sorts of ways, whether it's photographs or a journal or what have you. But it's not that the negative things aren't important, because they frame who we are and who we become. But if we're trying to reframe our mind and keep us stress-free and sleeping better and all those other good things, how wonderful to just focus on the positives.
Yes, we really need to bring that balance to it. And I love what you shared, that when your kids were younger and at home, you around the dinner table, you talked about what was a good thing that happened today. I highly recommend that to people. And it doesn't even have to be just when your kids are there. Maybe at this point, it's just the two of you. But you talk about that, or whoever your partners are, your housemates, to bring up 1 or 2 things at the dinner table that was really good that day.
I love it.
That sure helps digestion, I would think.
I would think so. But I definitely love your suggestion of adding the emotion tied to it as well, as opposed to just important. A quickie list. Mm-hmm. It kind of takes it delving deeper. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much. This is such a simple practice, and yet it seems to me like it's going to have such a big impact on our lives with very little time investment or effort. Anything else you want to tell us before we say goodbye for 2 more weeks?
I'd say the truth is we have a lot more good things going on than not. Notice them, acknowledge them, and appreciate them. Doing this segment with you today, Robin, is one of the good things I'm going to write down tonight.
Oh, thank you. I think I just might too. Jane Ehrman, we can check out her website at imagesofwellness.com. So much great information there, and always a joy to have you in. I love my Wellness Wednesdays. Thank you, Jane, for joining me again today.
You're welcome.
99.3 The Vine is owned and operated locally by Wind Down Media.